Okay, the last round is already underway in Brno, Czech Republic. On the first board we have Pavel Laube and Lukáš Souček. And on the second board we have Matěj Holub opening to Radim Kostlivý, where we can see actually there have been quite a couple of moves already. So let me try and recreate the position, which looks like, well, give me a moment. Yeah, it is this opening once more. Just we see this from a different angle. A similar swap to the one played by Pavel Laube, and a similar approach from Matěj Holub, who is again with the white pieces aggressively building towards the central part of the board. And on the other one, we can see that Pavel Laube put a scheme opening against Lukáš Souček, who needs to solve this to have 6 points and a chance to win, as both of them have 5 points after 6 rounds. Okay, this is the opening. I would be surprised if we wouldn't see a swap 2 from Lukáš Souček. He already has, if I'm correct, the white and black stones prepared for the swap 2. They are on his writing protocol. And as the stakes are very high, he is definitely going to use his time this time to come up with a suitable swap 2. Whilst we can see a rather quick development on the second board between Matěj Holub and Radim Kostlivý, where I would probably say I favor white, but it looks rather balanced. Yeah, it looks quite balanced, to be fair. Who knows, we may see another draw in this tournament. They keep the pace, fast moves. Let's see what's it gonna be good enough for. Possibly both of them are a bit tired from competing all day. That's why they are playing a bit fast in this last game, but the stakes are very high for all of them, so they will need to respect the clock as well. Current standings are Matěj Holub being the first one with 5 points. Behind him is Lukáš Souček and Pavel Laube also with 5 points, but here of course the coefficients decide. Next we have Miroslav Haza, behind him Jakub Horák, each of them having 4.5 points, and Miroslav Haza's coefficient is slightly better for now. Then on the 6th place we have Radim Kostlivý with 4 points, and 3 other players follow him with 4 points, namely Petr Žižka, Petr Podolski and Jakub Fojtik. Then we have a lot of players with 3 and 2 points, who obviously no longer have a chance of reaching the podium. But out of the first 5 players, easily any of them could reach the podium. For example, if Miroslav Haza manages to defeat Petr Podolski, he's gonna have 5.5 points. If Jakub Horák manages to defeat Jakub Foyte, he's also gonna have 5.5 points. And then we have 3 players with 5 points, 2 of them playing against one another. That is Pavel Laube and Lukáš Souček. Matěj Holub, who has 5 points, is playing against Radim Kostlivý, who has 4. So, for example, if Radim Kostlivý defeats Matěj Holub, and there's a draw between Pavel Laube and Lukáš Souček, that would mean 4 players with 5.5 points. That could be very funny to see that the coefficients will decide with 5 players having 5.5 points. Sorry, 4 players. Radim Kostlivý decided with this aggressive move. I'm positive Matěj Holub can either respond with an aggressive h8 or a positional e9. Let's see which one he favors more. I would favor probably e9 because after h8, black goes to i8. And you can either find a win here or not, and you don't want to give extra resources to your opponent, whilst here you create some extra lines that you will be able to use. And that is the reason why I would prefer e9 in this position personally. And apparently Matěj Holub does prefer it himself, as he played it. And Lukáš Souček is going all in against Pavel Laube with a fancy swap 2. This is gonna be very exciting. What a swap 2 in such an important moment from Lukáš Souček against the reigning world champion. He turned this scheme upside down, flipped it, and turned it into another one. Crazy. I believe one of these moves could be the one for this opening. Maybe this one, J6, I believe could have some life here, or L7, but I would need to calc. Yeah, L7 looks rather, because after this, how do you defend these lines? Not sure. Yeah, just not sure. So definitely Pavel Laube is gonna need to have to spend almost all of his time on this dissolve now, because if he picks the wrong color, he's doomed. Very much so. I don't know, even after this one I don't see a way of white coming back. No idea. It looks black to me. Like, what do you even try here? Not sure. Maybe not this one then. Yeah, something like this. It's tricky, and Pavel Laube will need to carefully analyze this. Probably it's a black win, but it's never that easy, and Lukáš Souček put him under a lot of pressure now. Until Pavel Laube is dealing with this and can show us his calculating skills, let's go back here to Matěj Holub and Radim Kostlivý, where Matěj Holub is on the move, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna block from the space here instead of going there. This is the right move, even if it's not immediately paying out. This horse moved settlement here, this setup, is gonna enable him for a future attack. Even if he is gonna have to play some defensive moves first, it's still gonna be very, very good for him on the long run, in my opinion. And I would be very surprised if he would decide to block from the other side, but he is actually, this move has already been played, and this one as well, so let's see, he can decide to play here, but maybe this is better to keep forcing the opponent. It's turning into a positional death for Radim Kostlivý. And Pavel Laube picks black rather quickly. And a quick move from Lukáš Souček, who played here. K8. What could this mean? We're definitely ahead of some exciting times. Pavel Laube is going to need to find a win here. Not so sure what it's gonna try there. Until then, another quick exchange of moves here, as Matěj Holub is more and more surrounding Radim Kostlivý. Okay. This move came from Radim Kostlivý, who tries to remain on the offense here, but he has to be careful. This move is a nice attempt of avoiding a positional death early on in the position. However, even this move could be considered now. But apparently, this could be as well good for him. This, not so much in my opinion, because this can be played, so doesn't look as good. What's good for white is that these two stones pretty much cover this diagonal line, making it much easier to defend the area. The game's not over, of course. Matěj Holub will still need some effort here. Let's see here what could be the winning move. I guess not this one, and not this one, because to this, it just doesn't work. How to avoid it? Play it differently, play it like this. Now you will block the block, so to speak, and boom, over. What can you even do here? It's just over. Yeah, there's no VCF, no nothing. Game's over. Let's see if Pavel Laube can find this line. What alternative line can be considered? Not so sure, but we shall find out soon. So, originally, the opening from Pavel Laube was G7, L6, and I2, to which Lukáš Souček came up with a very creative swap to playing J1 to neutralize this line, and a stone on J11 to create this scheme, closing out these two stones from the opening, basically, because if black plays here, it's a very easy white win in many ways. So these lines have to be considered. This was turned into this opening. Pavel Laube picked black, Lukáš Souček quickly played K8. And now we have this position where, in my opinion, G8 has to come. This move is not working. I've shown why. These moves are also not really working. Because of the following reasons. If you attack like this, block is doomed. If you attack like this, again, block and doomed. So these lines are pretty much useless. Due to that, I would say the only thing black can try here is G8. Perhaps I10 can be tried as well, but I'm not entirely convinced of that. G8 is my move. After that, L7 is proven losing. But there are some tricky options. Pavel Laube did play G8 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did. And the move J8 is coming from Lukáš Souček. What's gonna happen here? So if this line gets played, it's bad for black, right? As you can see, it's not good. Black's only attempt can be this way. Has to be blocked from here. Yeah, can this be played? Believe it could. But is it enough? Maybe this is better, but no, it's actually not better. Nevertheless, this is the way it could be played, or maybe even simply here is enough. But the first two moves have to be there, otherwise white can turn it around. And this move is coming from Pavel Laube already. So maybe even without playing there, he would want to play here. Very possible. Have to say it's looking good for black. And now let's go back to the other board where I again missed some very quick development because I don't know what they did, but it looks like this has been played by them based on how the position looks. Yeah, this is their current position. So it had to be this order. Couldn't be any other way in my opinion. And this means that Radim Kostlivý is still threatening down there, but he's running out of space, so unless he can find the winning attack, he's gonna get surrounded unavoidably. Matěj Holub has to only survive for a little longer to have his 6 point in the competition and a possible gold medal. Anyhow, Matěj Holub reacts with this tone, and it looks sufficient to me. The overline here can help a bit, but I believe it's time for Radim Kostlivý. Maybe he can make another overline if he really wants to. Unnecessary in my opinion though. But if he really wants to, he can do it. Although it would give an extra stone for white, which can create a Fukumi here, which is to be avoided. For which reasons I would suggest going back to the central part maybe and try to put up a defense there. Not sure about their clocks. Meanwhile, Pavel Laube is still thinking here. Still thinking. And so is Radim Kostlivý. Okay, he did play the 3 here. And he can choose to play here now. Or play here. Kind of up to him. He did play in the middle. So it has to be blocked from here, obviously. And after that, there's a couple of variants possible. But we will need to see what Pavel Laube can calculate here in this position. As we are approaching the end of Brno Cup 2024, we still have no idea who's going to finish on the podium for the following reasons. On the stream, it does not turn out what result is coming, what's the outcome of the matches of Miroslav Haza and Jakub Horag, who each had 4.5 points and with a win could move up to 5.5. The match between Matěj Holub and Radim Kostlivý is, well, it does have a chance of being a draw, especially if Matěj Holub reaches time trouble in this game as well. And Radim Kostlivý, let's not forget, he's not only the winner of the Czech Gomoku League last year, but also a finalist of the Gomoku World Championship last year. So let's not forget about that. And he can, which means he is more than capable of defending in this position, even if he has no way of extending his attack, in my opinion, here. And on the other hand, we have Lukáš Souček and Pavel Laube playing a very sharp game here. You can see that this is their actual position. I would be surprised if this move did not come now from Lukáš Souček. And apparently Pavel Laube might be in some trouble here. Like, what's he gonna do? Is this line the one he plans on playing? Is this enough for a win? I'm not so sure. We are gonna see what line he's planning to play. One thing's for sure, the game is still kind of open. Both players are getting low on time, especially Pavel Laube, although I cannot read their clocks clearly. The stream was started 27 minutes ago, and Lukáš Souček, I think, spent max 10 minutes in this game, so I feel like Pavel Laube must have like 2-3 minutes left. And the game is still not won yet, in my opinion. I don't see the final fork. And definitely there is always a chance of making a mistake in time trouble for anyone. Until then, this move came from Radim Kostlivý. He is still trying to push his opponent. He is threatening with this line. Obviously, this is his plan. I would not be surprised if simply this block came from Matěj Holub, who looks the most solid in the position. I wouldn't feel threatened much here, but let's see what he's gonna do with it. Okay, he played it rather quickly, and now Radim Kostlivý shifts the attack towards the central top part of the board. He wants to win this game. He does not want to draw. He does not want to defend. He wants to win. And apparently, this move was played. Yup. Oh, and it's looking good. I missed this line, to be fair. I missed it, but it's a winning line. Well found by Kedlob. It is a winning line. So yes, it actually looks like Pavel Laube did manage to win after that fancy swap to from Lukáš Souček, who might miss the podium this way. Maybe he should have tried harder in those two draw games against Miroslav Haza and Matěj Holub. Unfortunately, this little trickery did not work against the reigning world champion of Gomoku. Pavel Laube is going to have 6 full points, losing once to Matěj Holub and winning the rest of his games later on. Meanwhile, Matěj Holub is sitting on his 5 points, defending against Radim Kostlivý, who is relentlessly pushing the position. Let's switch to that game because this one is finished. He played here and Radim Kostlivý is surely planning his next offensive move, but he really should head back to defense in my opinion. But he just doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to. He keeps on pushing. He wants to win. I definitely appreciate the offensive spirits of him. Let's hope it does not cost him the game as well. Not a bad attempt, but I believe Matěj Holub will have relatively simple defense here. I'm not familiar with the clocks of these players. I'm assuming both of them are low on time based on how the game was going on. We are turning to the final moments of the Brno Cup 2024. We already have someone surely on the podium, Pavel Laube. He is surely on the podium with 6 points. But we still have Matěj Holub, who is undefeated, the only undefeated competitor remaining. And his task is to survive these final offensive waves of Radim Kostlivý here in the Brno Cup. Can he do it? If he can and turn it into his victory, it would mean that he has 6 points, undefeated, probably first place due to coefficients, especially since he defeated Pavel Laube. He was the only one who defeated him. Radim Kostlivý is launching his attack. These are the final exciting moments of the competition. Watch closely as Radim Kostlivý is pushing Matěj Holub in the last round, in one of the last games of the last round. Definitely the most important remaining game for the competition. Matěj Holub is trying to think. He needs to find defense here. He cannot make a mistake. Don't forget about this 4, which can be extended here, so it's a VCF threat. Main question here is whether or not there would be anything for black after this move. I would say it's defendable, but we can have a quick look. It's absolute misclick, but absolutely looks defendable. White is gaining extra resources also. Let's not forget about that. I don't see how this can be turned into a win here. But of course it's much easier to click it than to see it ahead on the board. And apparently the block comes from Matěj Holub. Radim heads back to defense. Now could be the time for a last defensive move from Matěj Holub. I believe this would be necessary, otherwise it could get a bit too complicated for him, which I believe he wants to avoid. A half point is still much better than no points. But he's on the move. And he plays here. Probably the block is coming in the middle. I would be very surprised if not. Okay, not. Radim is going for an attack. I don't think he has a VCF of any kind. Not how I see the position. Unless I missed something, but okay, he decided to use his force to block. Yup, this way. And now he is the next one to place a stone. He plays on J7, extending his attack. But this move, this one, it looks pretty safe for white. For now at least. Definitely there is a one move in here, so it has to be taken care of. Let's see if no mistake is coming from Radim here. Yup, he is playing there. I would definitely block this from the outside. There's no winning combination here. The corner area is well defended by Matěj Holub, but regardless, he decides to play here, posing one threat here, which can be easily blocked. Apparently it was blocked here. You can see the nerves, his hands are shaking, he's about to make his next move. He has to attack for the win, to be first in the competition. I'm only wondering how much time he has left. One thing's for sure, he needs to attack here if he wants to win. Couple of possible ways of attacking here. Perhaps this move could be considered. I like it nevertheless. Sorry. Actually, I can't think of many other possible moves to attack here. This looks like the most promising to me. But a different approach by Matěj. He is playing this line, as I see. Some quick blocks. Position is quickly rendered into a draw. Yeah, it's gonna be a draw. Unless a blunder happens, this has to be a draw. So this is their current position. I will stop putting the stones on the board and just comment the screen. There is actually not much left for Matěj Holub to attack. He got surrounded real quick after his attempt. Okay. If he's not careful enough, he might have some difficulties later on. And Matěj Holub is blundering. Oh wow. He did blunder and is losing the game apparently. Radim Kostlivý wins in time trouble, which means the winner of Brno Cup 2024 is surely Pavel Laube. What an exciting last round this was actually, and an exciting tournament. I'm not really sure about the rest of the places. It could easily happen that both Lukáš Souček and Matěj Holub are out of the podium thanks to their first lost games in the last round. If Jakub Horák and Miroslav Háza have won their respective matches, they will be on the podium with 5.5 points. That is outstanding. What a turnout of events. Well, I'd say stay tuned for the Gomoku World Facebook post. about the final standings. I thank you for your attention for today. It was a pleasure to comment yet another tournament that I sadly could not attend. Probably the Czech Open will go in a similar manner because I don't think I'm gonna make it there this year, so at least I can comment it. Wow, what a tournament! Matěj Holub had such a run, and he might be out of the top 3. Crazy, but that's what happens when you have so many strong players in one tournament. So once again, thank you all for watching. Thanks for the organizers for the opportunity of me being able to broadcast the tournament. And see you next time. Cheers.